haunting since time began. Wrong side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creaky floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. Orbs rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Raw Side. I'm glad you could all join me on this Sunday evening. I hope everybody is doing great. Let me give a shout out to everybody who's popped in to hang with us. And we see Carla. Hi, Carla. Hi, Julie, Wayne. Michael, as always, a pleasure. Welcome all. I did see someone earlier. I think Dragon was in here too. Hi, Betty. Yep, there's Dragon. There's Betty. I feel bad if I miss somebody. I'm glad everybody was here to hang out with me and Paranormal Pride. They are a great team. I enjoyed being on their program a couple of weeks ago. And so I've been very excited to have her on. Hi, Friday. Welcome. So if you guys could put your hands together and welcome Miss Denise to the stage. Hi.
Hi. I got to tell you something. You're going to laugh.
Okay.
So
I'm always good for a laugh.
The picture you picked of me is not Ron.
Oh,
That is Sheriff Mark Lamb from Pinal County in Arizona. From when Live PD was on the air, we went to Springfield, Missouri for this huge Live PD party. And my arms were not long enough to take a selfie with him, so he had to take it. And so he was just recently running for, I think, either Congress or he was running for something in Pinal County or in Arizona. But I put it up there because, you know, I was really proud that I got to meet this guy.
Right. Oh, I feel so bad.
And the thing is you're not the only one that has done that.
It was the only picture I could find. I'm looking through. I'm like, oh, what picture can I put up? And I go, oh, that looks good.
It does look good. He made me laugh, so it was good. And you know, but when I saw that, I was like, no, yes, he's a good-looking man, but so is Ron.
Right. Like I said, it wasn't a really good picture of the man itself, but I saw you together. I'm saying, okay, so it's we'll use that picture. So my bad. I should have just told you to send me a picture.
Oh, well, you know what? It was just every time I see that picture, it makes me laugh anyway, because we had such a good time in Springfield, Missouri. We have such good friends there that we miss, that we're going to be seeing very soon, which is nice, because since we moved to Florida, Springfield, Missouri is quite a distance away now.
Yes, it is.
And we're
Yes.
meeting up with them at Ashmore Estates. And
Oh,
Ron was going
nice.
to be on here, but he needed to talk to his mom. So if he gets done talking to her, then he'll come and be with us. But right now, he needs to go talk to his mom, and he's a very good son. He calls his mom every Sunday around this time.
That's okay. Family first.
And that's what I tell him, because he is so lucky to have his mom, a parent still alive.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't take that for granted. I mean, both of my parents are still living, but my mother has dementia. So I take care of my mother. And even though it's not her, because they totally, they lose their identity. It's still her on the outside. So I'm still grateful she's here, even though she has no idea who I am. But that's okay.
That's what you said.
I know who she is. So hi, Wayne. Hi, Stephanie. Wayne, actually, that picture that you're seeing over here is the AI art that Faith did, that I put in our first issue of Paranormal Pages, and I printed it out so I could frame it and keep it. It's all of the debunkers and a few of us extras that she stuck in there, and I was one. So I was so glad to have it. So and it's hard because I got it hung up. You guys really can't see, but it's pretty much a little bit of everybody in there. So that was really nice. Okay, Denise, we're just going to jump right into it. Sorry if I missed anybody. And remember, you guys all are welcome to throw questions at us as we go along the way. I always ask everybody, and everybody knows this, we all know that you're in the paranormal because we're all into the paranormal, but we'd like to know about the people behind the paranormal. Could you tell us a little bit about Denise and Ron, the people?
Well, Denise and Ron, the people, we've been married 40 years, so we are, there are a lot of couples in the paranormal. And a lot of the couples that we know got together because of the paranormal. We were married 11 years before he understood that I could see spirits. I never said a word. And I told him, I said, it was because, way back when in 1975, when I told my mom all the things that I could see, she pretty much said, don't tell anybody. Because if you do, they're going to think you're nuts. And this was really important to me at that time because, at the time when I revealed what I could see, it was my dad's murder. And
oh my,
well, it was going to be hard anyway for a 10-year-old girl, not to mention, hey, I'm now the weird girl too. And I'm already the girl who's, well, they didn't understand it. I was the girl, we didn't have a dad. They didn't care if dad was murdered, mom was a whore, is how they looked at it. So I'm really tough. Let's just say that. I'm really tough over all this kind of stuff. But like I said, it took him 11 years before he realized that the stuff that I told him was I saw spirits. He just didn't understand that. And I didn't know that I knew he loved Halloween and haunted houses. I didn't know that he really wanted to be involved in the real side of it. Because some people like the entertainment haunted houses, but they don't want to be involved in, they like horror houses, not haunted houses.
Right.
And I did not know that. But like I said, it took 11 years. Living in a haunted house kind of brought him around to that. And after we talked about it, we decided, that we were going to be going out and doing this stuff ourselves, and one of the things was oh, what was it? Paranormal State had come out, and which is prior to Ghost Adventures, prior to Ghost Hunters, and we had watched that together. But all the other stuff that was before that, we never saw. I mean, I never saw sightings till 1994. Okay, so I saw that, but by this time we've already been married 10 years. So when you think about that time range, there wasn't a lot of stuff for us to watch together, to talk about it more. And it would be movies like Ghostbusters and things that didn't have a lot of validity to them for us to talk about and say, boy, I wish we could do something like that. So Paranormal State is what woke up Ron and I to going out and doing paranormal type stuff. But the biggest one was our own house. Here we have 3 kids at the time, and I have a daughter coming up to me and saying, Mom, this boy's in my room. Can you do something? And, back then I didn't know what to do. And so I didn't think anything of it. I tried to play it down, kind of like I was trained by my mom, just don't say anything. I mean, and I had told Ron about this boy since we moved into the house in 1985, 86. It was 86. I had told him for 10 years, about this kid. Okay. He didn't believe me. He thought I was seeing stuff. And till one day we were at a car dealership in Overland Park, Kansas. And I looked, and this guy asks me for our address because we're buying a car. Tell him our address. And he says, you live in the suicide house. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That explains a lot. And I just kind of looked over at Ron and said, told you. And after that, he asked me some questions on the way home, and I gave him the information that I had. And the person whose son had committed suicide in our house was our next door neighbor's best friend, who was still our next door neighbor. So Ron went over to him, talked to him, told him what I said, and asked, why didn't you tell us? Like I said, we'd lived in the house a long time.
Right.
You would think that somebody would have said something, but that's kind of where we got started together. My start happened back in 1975, and I had been witnessing all kinds of stuff, doing bad things as a 12-year-old, like breaking into the Edgar Allan Poe house, things like that. But they didn't have CCTV cameras at the time.
It was easy back then.
Right in.
Yeah.
I did that kind of stuff. So I do not recommend it anymore, especially
no. Yeah.
since there are cameras and
right.
not instant gratification, but instant issues. But back then they had no clue. It wasn't like I broke in and tore stuff up. I just broke in because I wanted to go see it at night with no people in there. And it's a really interesting place. I wish I could remember more, and I wish I'd had a digital camera back then, because it was too expensive to get film developed.
Yeah. And if you use Polaroids and stuff like we did, yeah, it cost you a fortune.
Oh yeah. Yep. And like I said, I was 12.
Right.
Yes, I had a job. I was doing daycare for, whatever neighbor needed somebody to do daycare, but it's mostly night care and weekend care.
Right.
To be honest, I did have to go to school, but it was one of those weird things that I didn't have the money. And even if I did, I wasn't spending it on film, so, and I never even thought about the stuff that we do now, putting it on film, capturing it somehow. It was more of a memory for me to keep forever. That's right. How I saw it. So all that was really interesting to me when, when I look back. But, the more I talk about the things that I've witnessed, the more I find out what they're called. You know, did, somebody said something just a couple weeks ago that made me think, did I have an out of body experience and witness my father being murdered? Or did I have a remote view of it? I don't know. I don't know
Right.
I don't know what the definitions are, because I felt like I was in the spot I felt like I was there. But is that how you feel when you're remote viewing? I don't know. So it kind of makes you think about stuff a little bit more when you're finding out what the meanings of the words are.
Right. Well, yeah,
And I did
because
not
back
realize I was
then,
sunburned until just now.
well, you're going to feel it later.
I went to the
Well,
beach
being
today.
as young as you are, I mean, when it happened, I mean, you don't know what that is or how to explain it. So that's a hard question to ask
Yeah, I've been
or
explaining it
answer.
my whole life as an out of body experience.
Right?
I did not even think, I mean, I've done remote viewing, but when I've done remote viewing, I don't feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm looking at a map of the place and seeing like I feel like I'm seeing a drafting or an architectural drawing more when I feel like I'm remote viewing than I do when I'm having an out of body experience. Out of body experience, I feel like I can reach out and touch everything but have nothing to do with it. I feel like I'm right there in the room.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe I've got my terms mixed up, or maybe I don't. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, because I've never experienced anything like that myself that I know of. I've never really thought about it, to be honest.
Me either.
Um,
Until, like I said, I mean, I've thought about the experiences that I've had, but just not what the definitions of them are.
right. So all of these experience and all of this is what made you and your husband get together and form your paranormal group, or does your husband ever have any experiences of his own?
He does, and most of his are he does have a lot of deja vu, feeling like he's been there before and suddenly knows where to go and what to do. And he's like, in some of the locations we've been to, he's never been there before, but he knows exactly where the bathroom is, as an example. Or every time he goes to Texas, he feels at home. He does not know why. So maybe he's in a past life he lived in Texas. I That's kind of how he explains what he's seen. Not full body apparition. He's seen some shadow people.
Right.
At the Belvoir Winery in Liberty, Missouri, he actually saw full body apparition along with two other people. Let's go back to the shadow person. To me, it was a full body apparition. To him, it was a shadow person. I saw them as a person. He saw them as a shadow. So when
Right.
he saw them, him and three other guys went running down the hall to see this thing. They didn't know if it was a real person or if it was a shadow or whatever, but he's had that happen. And it was one of his first experiences where he saw something he couldn't explain. We've done residentials together, all over Missouri and Kansas. Just recently, one in Alabama. We were in Ozark, Alabama over the past weekend, and he saw some stuff he couldn't understand there either. So it's amazing when he has an experience and he's like, the wow, I could have had a V8 moment.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's like, oh crap, you've been telling me about this and now I'm seeing it. So
Right.
he's gotten more and more aware of things to pay attention to than he used to. You know, in the beginning, it was more like, how are you doing that? Or can you tell me why this is happening? Or I didn't see anything. And it's like, you didn't? Okay, let's go back and see if you see it now. But I told him, I said, I don't like telling people what they need to be looking for because of the fact that I don't want to influence somebody on what I think they should be seeing, because what he sees and what I see are two different things.
Right.
Yeah, like when I see a mushroom, I see, and he sees a mushroom and he goes,
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Right. Yeah, you don't want to contaminate anything. So yeah, you got to just
Right.
go in there blind. So it's, what was your very first investigation as a team?
As a team, our very first one was, let's see, which one was it? The Villisca Axe Murder House. It really wasn't an investigation. So this is a fun story too. We were going from Kansas City to Stanton, Iowa. Ron's family is from Red Oak and in the surrounding areas. So we were going up back in 2009 for a family reunion. We had to take a different route because I-29 was underwater. It happens all the time. Every time there's a flood,
Yeah.
I-29
Yep,
floods.
been that
So,
way. Yep.
yeah, so we had to take 71 to get up there. So we're coming up 71 and we're near Clarinda. And Clarinda is the last place before you get to Red Oak. Even though it's not on 71, it's, Red Oak is on a different road than this. And we had stopped to eat probably with the kids. We had the 4 kids with us. No, we had 3 of them with us. And I said, well, let's stop, whatever. We get back in the car and I go, I wonder where Villisca, Iowa is. And he's like, I don't know. He goes, it has to be up in the north, because it goes, if it was any place close to here, my cousins would have said something. Okay, so Ron's mom is one of 10 kids.
Oh, God bless her.
He's got a lot of cousins. They would have said something. They are all interested in it, in the paranormal.
Right.
Okay, so we turn and we're going up the road, and here's a sign, Villisca, 9 miles. I'm just like, okay. So he goes, find out what the address is and we'll go. Well, I had a BlackBerry phone. Okay. Did not have really good GPS back then. We basically just had, here's an address, here's a map, figure it out from where you're at. And so we go over to 508 2nd Street, and I take a picture of the sign that says Villisca Axe Murder House. And so this was on Friday as we're going into town, and they're getting ready to turn it over to people. So we didn't want to stay and interfere with the people that were getting the house. So we decided we were going to come back on Sunday. We were going to go to the family reunion on Saturday, and on Sunday on our way home, we were going to stop in. Can't do it now on Sundays unless you book it, but they don't do tours on Sunday anymore. But back then they did. Darwin Lynn was still alive. And so we go to the family reunion, and I go, oh, we're so excited. We're going to stop at the Villisca Axe Murder House on our way home. And the family was like, didn't know there was one. And I show a picture of the place, and the room got deathly quiet.
Right.
It was like everybody could hear everything I was saying. And of course, in this case, I'm not part of the family. I am my husband's wife. I'm not blood. I don't know anything. Okay. And this isn't the first time I bring something up that makes the whole family and say, we got to talk to you guys in private. That's what happened. We were drugged to another area and told, guys, Grandma Jackson, the Jackson who married a Jackson. And they go, yeah. Well, her brother was the sheriff in that investigation. you're related to them. And this was a family, they felt like it was a family failure because he didn't solve this. And so I said, that's not the case. I said, how many other sheriffs didn't solve this? Going across, between Colorado and Indiana, a lot of them. I said, so it's not just him, and so I kind of had to explain that to the family and say, this shouldn't be an embarrassment. This should be something that's, brings pride to the family that he tried.
Right.
And the family started looking at it differently. Well, Sunday came along and we contacted Darwin, and we got there and we got to go through the house. Well, we told Darwin, I said, yeah, Ron's family is related to the house. And he goes, how? And I said, Warren Jackson was his great uncle. And he goes, stay here. Just stay here. And he went back to the museum, and he comes back with a picture from the trial. And he says, this is Warren Jackson, your great uncle, with the axe, and all this other stuff. So a historical picture. And he gives it to my daughter and says, you should take a picture of her with this picture. And I still have it today. But that was my daughter at the time it was 2009. She was 10. And so she was all excited, here we are in this haunted house, and hey, my family is related to this.
It's part of that, right?
Yes. So since then, since that very first visit, well, during that first visit, our other daughter, she was 16. She was upstairs while this is all going on downstairs with us and Darwin. She comes down the stairs and she goes, we gotta go. And I said, why? And she goes, somebody just walked by me upstairs. She goes, there's nobody here. It's just us, because it was still, people were still in church. It was still early. She goes, he walked from the bedroom and into the attic. And she goes, and the door closed. She goes, I don't know what to do. And I said, you can't do anything. I said, it's a residual spirit, I guess. At the time I did not know as much as I do now. And I said, and then we started talking about how it made her feel and all this other stuff. And she's like, okay, I guess I see spirits too, Mom, is what she said. And so, after that, we've been back to the Villisca Axe Murder House many times. We've never spent the night because, it is very expensive for 4 to 6 people to stay there. And there's no heat in the house. There is an air conditioner, a window unit. So you might be able to have, the only heaters they have are the little kerosene ones. And it's like, it's just not worth it for me to go up there in the wintertime, because every time we cross the Iowa state line between September and April, it snows every time. Or if it's in the summertime, it's 115 and nobody wants to be there either. Exactly. So we've never stayed there, but we've been back multiple times. The last time we went, it was just us. It was during the week, and it was me and Ron and one of our daughters. And we were upstairs in the children's room, and we were asking, what are your favorite toys? I said, what are your favorite toys that we can get you? Because there was a lot of toys in the closet, and there was some in the dresser, and all of them told me a toy. The 4 more children told me a toy. Well, I couldn't find one. One of them kept saying monkey. And when they said monkey, they said it multiple times. I mean, I'm saying 8, 10 times, and I can't find this monkey, and I'm looking everywhere. We decided to leave the room, and we're going to go downstairs and go talk to Johnny Hauser. And I open the attic door, and I look in there because at this point, Martha's got it shut off so that you can't go in there. There's a rope across there. I open the door and I look, and the monkey is in a chair in there. And so I close the door, and I tell Ron, I go, the monkey's in there. And he goes, what monkey? And he goes, oh, the monkey that the kids want. And I go, yeah. So we went downstairs and we talked to Johnny, and we said, Johnny, can you go get the monkey and put it in the bed, the crib? he goes, why? I said, because the baby wants it. The baby wants the monkey. And he goes, where's it at? And he goes, I said, in the attic. And he goes, well, it was in the crib. And I said, when was it in the crib? He goes, last night. He goes, I don't know if somebody moved it or whatever, but nobody knows exactly. But somebody had been in the house, so it's very possible. It's not paranormal. So, but yeah, it was one of those things that made me go down and tell Johnny, you got to go do that now.
Oh.
So that was one of our, that was one of the very first places we went. And after that, it was the Sally House, which was also 508 2nd Street, but in Atchison, Kansas, and the McPike Mansion in Alton, Illinois, where we're still volunteers there. We haven't been in 3 years, but she says we're still volunteers forever and ever. So I'm going to take it.
Fantastic.
And
so, I mean, you've been all over then, pretty much, as far as
we
paranormal
have done,
investigations.
Yeah, we have done something. I've done stuff in Seattle by myself. I was on a business trip. I've done stuff in Denver on a business trip. I made sure that every trip I took for business, for work, I was going to treat it like I was never going to go back. I was going to do something regardless of how much time I have. I'm going to make the time to do something I want to do. So I was in Seattle one time and I went to 2 different haunted locations and had dinner. And at one of them, the Merchant's Cafe, the lady, it was Valentine's Day. She didn't have hardly any business. She gave me the keys and said I could go anywhere I wanted.
Fantastic.
While I was waiting for my dinner. And then she sat down with me after my dinner with one of the bartenders that had been on the Dead Files. And they sat down and we talked for like 2.5 hours. So every place I go, it seems like I get a free tour of something that I didn't count on.
Right.
I didn't count on her telling me I could go anywhere I wanted in the building. I thought for sure it was going to be, yeah, I'll tell you about this or whatever. So, but yeah, they do. There are a lot of staffs that deny that hotels are haunted.
Right.
In fact, there's a place in Kansas City that says for years and years and years denied it being haunted. And once it got on TV for being haunted, they wish they had admitted that it was. Oh shit, what was it called? It was a huge house. It was one of the ones that the Trumans lived in Independence, Missouri. And I saw a spirit up there. I was taking the kids down to get shots in Independence. This was, shoot, my kids were little. If I'm getting them shots, that had to be back in 80, 88, 89. And I saw this woman upstairs and they go, oh no, the Vale Mansion. And so I went in there and I said, is anybody upstairs? And she said, no. She goes, there's nobody upstairs. She goes, I said, I hate to ask this, but is this place haunted? And she said, no, we're not haunted. And we don't like that stuff here. And pretty much got belligerent with me.
Right.
And I said, I'm just asking because there is a lady that's upstairs looking out the window when I came in here. And she looked like she wanted somebody to talk to. And she said, there's nobody here. There's never anybody here. I was like, oh, well, okay, thank you. And I said, and I turned around and I said, so you're sure you're not haunted? And she says, I'm positive we're not haunted. And it's like, okay, thank you. And
yeah,
walked away.
Had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of places where they know they're haunted, but their management doesn't want to admit that. And it happens a lot, like the Glick Mansion across the street from the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. It's haunted. It's had more deaths in it than the Sally House did. And it's a huge beautiful house. I mean, it's strange. You got this big, huge mansion across the street from this little bitty house. And, you've got all these people that had died there, and all these rich people had stayed there, and all this. It was a governor's mansion at one time, the first Democrat governor of the state of Missouri. This was his home. Or, yeah, state of Kansas, sorry. And for the longest time, nobody wanted to admit it was haunted. And if you would talk to the owners in front of people, they would say, no, it's not haunted. Even though our city is really haunted, we're not. And I sat down and would talk to them in the morning after we would stay. We stayed there 6 times. We stayed there. We paid for the bed and breakfast. It was one of the best places to stay, best food. And we would sit down, and she would sit down with the owner, would sit down with us and talk to us and find out what we had happened the night before. She goes, you always tell me the most fascinating things. And she goes, and every time you tell me these things, she goes, and I go back and I research it and find out what you're telling me is true. And I said, well, where did you research it? I said, because I'd like to see it.
Right.
Because I wanted to show Ron, here, remember what I said? She said it's true. And he's, he never really wanted to believe me, but he thought that I was just, even though he knows I can do this, he still doesn't understand how I do it. So, but I don't know. I don't know why denial is such a huge thing. And, down here, I'm hearing that more down here in Florida and Alabama. And I think it's, down here, the Bible Belt.
Oh, yeah, all that's taboo. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell everybody, I have Southern Baptist ministers in my family, and they haven't shunned me.
Yeah.
They take me for my word.
Right.
They believe that it's a gift. Do I believe it's a gift? Not all the time, but most of the time it's a gift. And like one of my cousins said, that's a minister, he said, we don't ask for the gifts that God gave us. God gave it to you for a reason. And
right.
He goes, maybe yours is to bring awareness to other people. He goes, because you didn't, you weren't out there telling people about this until much later in life, when you were old enough to discern the positive from the negative.
Right.
So it's amazing. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to explain it, but it is an amazing thing when I can tell people this is negative and this is positive. And just because you need to open up and listen to what it's saying because this is real, but no, you need to close down when this one.
Right. Okay. See, Dragon says, I lived in Glenwood Springs. I've had my own experiences at the Hotel Colorado, as well as many other firsthand stories from people who've stayed there because it's a historical landmark. Really, yeah, I've never, Glenwood Springs.
Yeah, I've never stayed there. I don't know where the Hotel Colorado, I know it's in Colorado Springs or Glenwood Springs.
Right.
But where I went in the Denver area was the Lumber Baron. One of my VPs, he knew that I was into this, and he says, we got you out of your room. You're going to go stay here tonight. I was like, okay. They also got me a walking tour of downtown Denver of all the haunted locations down there. I've been very lucky in my paranormal stuff because other people around me have been able to embrace it and show me the things that they want me to see. Right. And so in the case of the business that I was in, I still can't believe to this day that my boss found out that I was, that I did this stuff, and he would call me into his office in Denver and have me sit down and talk to him for 2 hours when I needed to be working on something else for him, but he wanted to talk about the paranormal.
Right. Well, yeah, it was more important to him at the time.
Oh yeah. It was just really funny. So, and now in the group that I'm in another company, they're trying to schedule time for us to have a a half-hour meeting once a month just to talk about what I'm doing on the paranormal,
Jeez.
not
Right,
for work.
right. They don't care about the work stuff. Welcome, Marina. Dragon says Glenwood Springs is where Doc Holliday died from his tuberculosis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. All
I have
right.
been to Dodge City, though. That's where Doc Holliday went through. There's a lot of them related to Dodge City.
Nice. Have
They
you ever
went,
been
Ron.
to? Yeah, I seen him. I seen him. Have you ever been to a location that has disturbed you so much that you'll never go back to?
Not yet. There is one location that is trying to keep me away from it, and that's Ashmore Estates. I went there in 2018 and got scratched really deep, had blood and scabs for days. Then I went back in April 2019 and I couldn't stay in the building. Something happened between when I went in 2018 and when I went in 2019 that I couldn't breathe in a lot of these places without a mask. My lung had collapsed and I had some other things. So, but yeah, I kind of just didn't go. I didn't spend a lot of time in there. Well, the
Right.
next time I needed to go, I couldn't go. Something happened. We had planned to go. We were all ready to go. And I said, we can't go. And then the next time, same kind of thing happened. And we're scheduled to be there on October 26th this year after 4 different times that something has kept me from going. And it was just it's really strange. But so far, there has been no place that has scared me so much that I won't go back. There have been places that I've went that I won't go back to, mostly because of the fact that they're gone. You know,
Right.
there was a place in Indiana that we went to, they just tore down. And, there's not much you can do there. But, it is what it is. But I hope to God I never come across a place that scares the living crap out of me so much that I won't go back.
Right. I hope not either. It's but I have questioned some people where they have actually been to places where they swear they will never return. Hi, Jonathan. Welcome. It's it could be. Did you ever think about, though, even though some of the places that are gone or been torn down, have you ever thought about just going back to the spots that they were and just do an investigation just on the property, even though the building is missing?
Well, in some of these cases, I can't.
Oh, okay.
They don't want anything to do with the paranormal anymore. The people have passed away or whatever. And here, look, I have a special guest.
I'm here,
Ron.
It's the real Ron.
Yeah, the real Ron. Not.
Didn't even look like the guy in the picture.
Because then I was scrolling through the pictures, I'm thinking, oh, and like I said, look, you go, oh, this is a nice photo, so I'll use this one. It's my bad. I replaced you. I'm so sorry.
Let me turn her up again. So,
yeah. So they won't let you even just go on the property itself, just so you could do like an investigation just on the grounds.
Yeah, and I don't. Since I haven't been back, this place was outside of Indianapolis. I haven't been back up there, so
I think they tore it down.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They tore down the building. She was asking if they were allowing investigations of the property, and we did have some strange things happen on that tour of the location. And I do believe it was related more to the land. But one of Rocky Foreman, he got possessed at this place. And I did not know that. And when we were walking around, I told Ron, I said, this spirit just keeps saying Rocky. It's calling out Rocky. And he goes, do you know a Rocky? And I go, what? So I can only think of Rocky Foreman and I don't know him. I just know of him. And he goes, I said, somebody here wants him bad. And So after we left the house, I sent Rocky a message and I said, "Hey, have you ever been to, I forgot the name of the place." I said, "Have you ever been here?" And he goes,
Hey, Stephanie.
and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I got possessed there." I said, "Oh, then that explains it." I said, "Apparently you're the meat that they want."
It sounds that way. Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. Rachel, I can remember.
Yeah.
Rachel was there. She was the one that gave us a tour. So we've been to so many places. And I mean,
I
like I
haven't
said,
been to any that I was so afraid that I'd never go back. We haven't been to one.
yeah, I told him this. The only one we've got a problem with is Ashmore, that something keeps us from going.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's always
That
interesting.
Well, yeah, it's always a different. No matter how many times you go back, the experience is always different. When you guys conduct, what kind of, is there a certain style that you use when you're conducting an investigation? And if there
Chaos.
is, it's all right. That's good. It's always great when you have a little chaos. And do you use equipment? What equipment do you find is beneficial? And pretty much, I know it's like a three-parter here, but what do you expect the equipment to bring to your investigation?
Clarity. You know, in most cases, you know, I don't use a lot of equipment. You know, sometimes, I mean, camera maybe, I mean, very seldom do I use a recorder because I have never captured an EVP that I know of. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
We tried their laptop one time.
My laptop is like,
that thing picked everything up.
it has a mouse fart mic. It'll catch a mouse farting by 1,000 yards away. I swear. But for me, the equipment is mostly him using whatever it is he's using and me telling him what it's going to say. That's most of what it is.
I'll use a millimeter. I like to use the Echo Vox. It works, you know, some places. It doesn't work everywhere, but dowsing rods, they seem to work.
That's right.
Anywhere.
I remember you saying you used the dowsing rods. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to use them all the time, and now that I know what the answers are, I don't use them.
We don't even take that many pictures, or it's just kind of just a feel for the place. Because we don't do any research. If it's a place we've never been to, we don't research it
until after.
We just go there and find out things on our own.
Okay. Yeah, because that was one of my questions. What kind of research do you do before and after?
Before, we do nothing other than where is it?
Right.
What's the address and how much is it going to cost?
So you just want to go in as a blank slate, and then afterwards you do the digging.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take whatever tour they offer, but you know, in a lot of those places, the tour is all legend or what they want to be the facts. And a lot of times you find out later on that what they've given you is nothing compared to what's for real.
Right.
Yeah, we've never been to Workman's Chapel.
No, I
Stephanie.
don't think you can get in there.
Well, I think Stephanie went with Josh and them at one of the events up
recently.
There. No, way back when.
Yeah.
So
that's up.
It's not too far from. It's by Maryville.
Yeah, Maryville,
Missouri. So we went past that area when we went to Villisca from where we used to live. So
right.
I told her about our Villisca 9-mile trip.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of started a lot of our investigating. So it's always interesting anyway, all the things. But yeah, Ron likes some of the equipment. I like some of the equipment. But most of the time it ends up being him using equipment and me walking around asking questions or answering questions of whatever is there. And what do I feel? What do I see? You know, things like that.
Right.
But as far as history goes, we have zero history before we go in any place. But afterwards, I'm talking like at the Sally house. After, you know, the first time we went there, we had a lot of information, but most of it was anecdotal. It was stuff that the city wanted you to think about the Sally house, what TV wanted you to think about the Sally house. And what the people who had lived in the Sally house had to say. We had all this information because we had never been there. And we took that information and we walked in, and inside the house, there's all these little signs everywhere saying stuff that had happened. So if you were trying to go in without a thought in your head, there was no way it was going to happen. And so after we were there one time, we went back the following week with more information. And I'll tell you, honestly, we were so new to the research part that we felt like every piece of information we had was factual, and it wasn't. And it took me 7 years of being a volunteer and digging in deep. I mean, I've got a bunch of research about this thick, not to mention how many links and stuff that I have to stuff that I've found to get a better story of what was going on, get a timeline of things that actually truly did happen in Atchison, at the house, with the family, all that stuff. You know, you find out the truth. And the truth was so much better than the crap that they were feeding everybody.
Yeah, it always is.
And
Yeah,
so when we were doing the tours, our boss, her name was Angie, you know, we were volunteers. We never got paid. Ron got sexually abused all the time, but he loved it. So it's not abuse if you like it. And
I'd always grab my butt. Of course, other people saw that. They said, "Don't you let her just grab your butt?"
Isn't that harassment?
Yeah, isn't that harassment? I said, only if you don't like it.
Right. You can't harass the willing. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and I told her, I said, I'm finding out more and more information. And
Ooh, Civil War hospital.
You know, she goes, share it with everybody. And so I got to the point to where the information that I had, you know, I used it from what they had said and added to it, and told people, think about what I've just told you, and think about, you know, use some critical thinking skills here. Right. What do you believe based on what the information I'm giving you, based on the information you've heard on TV? Which thing do you think is closer to reality? When I had paperwork to prove mine.
Right.
But that's the thing. Every place has something along those lines. There's a place in Iowa that says one thing about their history, and there's no facts in that history. And when I brought it to their attention, they did not want anything to do with it. You know, so
because you're screwing up their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the truth is so much better than the legends and the stuff in these small towns where in Iowa where these stories have occurred. Everybody knows what the truth is. You know, in Atchison, you know, being interested in the Sally house is great, but it's
not what it used to be.
No, it's not what it used to be. It got cleared, and now whatever's in there has been conjured by paranormal investigators since 2017. And we haven't been back since 2017.
What was your experience when you were in the Sally house?
Oh, I got scratched so many times. It's pitiful. I had a chair. I had two chairs thrown at me. I had something.
Seen other people get scratched.
Yeah. I was giving a tour one time. I'm standing there talking, and my necklace, not this one, but it got twisted up all the way up to my neck. I used to get bruising on the insides of my arms.
Yeah, like something grabbed her.
Something was holding me there. I had so many experiences that I could probably write a book just on my experiences. That's not counting his.
Yeah, I mean, I was usually in the basement, and that was the most active spot. Yeah. And there were days, you know, sometimes you'd have days where just wasn't anything going on, and then other days when it was active, it was really active, especially if you had storms come in. But yeah, we're down there. We had the echo box going, and somebody goes, well, so what are you asking the thing? I said, I don't know, whatever the spirits in the house, just ask a question. And some kid goes, what's my name? Echo box says its name, said the kid's name. And after that, we started playing a little game. You know, when it was active, people would just come down the basement. We'd say, you know, what's this person's name right here? And it would say it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it would freak out a lot of people. And then I'd have other people go, well, how did you do that? And I'm like, I didn't do a damn thing because I don't know who this is. They just come in for a tour.
Right. What did you think?
Kudo show.
What do you think was in the Saley house? Do you think that it was evil spirit or just?
It wasn't good.
Yeah. You know,
it wasn't a demon, but it was
close,
pretty close to it.
I'll say it was whatever it was. It had an agenda, and no, you shouldn't go to Saley house.
Waste your
it's
time.
Overpriced for what you're going to get, and
go to
McIntyre Villa.
McIntyre Villa.
Go there. Stephanie's great, and
great house.
Yeah,
they just won't let you go down there anymore.
So
that's not crumbling. They won't let you. They don't want anyone.
The thing I've noticed that, you know, a lot of these popular places now, the prices are going up and there's more restrictions.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it when, you know, it's great when everybody gets to go to the famous places.
Yeah.
And everybody has them all on their bucket list. But I think it's just, even in the community itself, I've heard a lot of people say they would rather see, you know, investigators do places that nobody's heard of.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like a fresh start, you know, new history, new places to learn about. And I think I really hope everybody starts catching on to that trend of going to places that nobody has been to.
Yeah, we're going to on October 12th. We're going over to Fort Blakely with the Ghost Hunting Housewives, and we've been invited to come over there. And so, to other people, that might be, you know, one of their bucket list places. We've been to the park there, but we don't know anything about it other than, hey, there was a Civil War battle fought here, and there's been some flooding and some other things like that. We only went because we're trying to find out different things about our area where we live.
Right.
You know, so we were excited when they asked, and Fort Blakely's in Alabama. It's actually just north of the town that we thought we wanted to move to. And I will tell you, on Friday, we found out why we're grateful we didn't move there. Traffic was horrible. We had zero traffic compared to this place. And, but yeah, we're going to go do that on the 12th. And then on the 26th of October, we're planning on being at Ashmore Estates with some friends.
26th.
October 26th.
Yeah, I thought you said the 6th.
No. And so I'm looking forward to that. I hope we get to go. You know,
we look forward to, you know, if you get on your program and talk about it, we'll be looking forward to it. That is
sure. I can't wait to find out, you know. And on the way, we're going to stop in Franklin, Tennessee, and Franklin, Tennessee is like the Gettysburg of Tennessee. And I mean, you've got battlefields right next to houses.
Yep.
You know, you're driving down the road and here's a battlefield and here's a house.
They're all over.
And they're everywhere. So it's going to be hard to head to Ashmore when I want to stay where I'm at. I want to stay in Franklin and check it out because, you know, we've been to 3 of the haunted locations in Asheville or in Franklin. So on trips down here trying to figure out where we wanted to live. So now it's like, I want to go back now and really explore it and find out what else is there. So, so we're going to be doing a few paranormal things along the way, and it'll be interesting to see how that trip turns out.
Right. Well, yeah, it's great. You'll have more than one option. That, you know, fill it up while you can. Hi, Susan. Welcome. Yes, Julie, I agree. In the UK, 30 East Drive. How many videos I've seen about, and yes, it's interesting, but I mean, move it along. I mean, how many times can everybody go to the same places, especially in the UK? True. It is loaded with history. There should be 1,001 places you could go to.
Well, we're getting these updated so we can go.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's so like so my
Shiloh Battlefield. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one I want to go to.
Yes, Steph is great. A friend
I
of
want to go to that museum Michael's talking about. So he lives not too far from there. So they're paying $200 for someone to spend the night. Wow, that's
easy money.
and a lot of them couldn't do it. Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, once you've stayed at some place where you've been attacked physically multiple times and you didn't leave, just went to sleep, that tells you something.
Right.
I had four.
Yeah.
We had 4
Yeah,
kids. It was peaceful being in the Sally house overnight compared to being at home.
We had some friends coming in that they were doing the Sally house for an overnight and
Invited us to stay with
invited
them.
us to stay, which we did a lot.
There you go.
And we got down there and Denise goes down there. We're waiting for someone else to show up. And she goes down in the basement, which she hardly ever did. And she comes up. She's eyes are all bugged out. And it's like, what happened? She goes, I had a chair thrown at me as soon as I got down there. A folding chair.
Right.
And I went, oh, crap. It's going to be a long night. But you know what? Nothing ever happened after 3 o'clock there. Between 3 and 7 in the morning, nothing.
Just quiet. That's
it was weird.
Meant that you could get a nap.
You could.
We had one of our friends, she was shocked as hell when they all decided to go to bed. It was 3 o'clock in the morning and nobody would sleep in the nursery, but there was a bed, and him and I got in the twin bed and went to sleep. And she goes, I've never seen anybody love somebody else so much that they would sleep in a twin bed together. And it's like, I always sleep on the edge anyway. So
I know.
But,
and when you're tired, you don't care.
Denise, she sees the spirits. I'm not really that sensitive, but I've experienced, different smells and places,
right.
Perfumes, cherry pipe tobacco smells. And I've experienced big time temperature changes.
And I told her about your shadow person.
Oh, yeah.
At the Belvoir Winery.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was colder than crap down there. When we got to that spot, it was ice cold. It wasn't for November. It wasn't that bad.
No, I didn't have a coat on, and I got a blanket, and it's 90, so I'm always cold.
Oh no, I'm always hot. My husband bitches. He says I'm too hot.
Well, right now I'm a little warm. The sunburn is
always very hot.
When
I touch him, he bitches. My hands are very hot.
Mine are ice cold all the time.
Aren't you getting rain up there?
It's supposed to, I think, start tomorrow. It's going to be like a washout for the whole week, which really stinks because I'm in the process of building a garage.
Ooh.
And the weather has not been cooperative. And then in between me hurting myself and then not feeling good, I got to get it done before winter because everything that was in the old garage is all over my yard and it's just a shit show. And I got to hurry up and get it all back in there. Hi, Candy. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I go, okay, we're going to do it this week. Nope. So I'm like, oh.
Well, hopefully the hurricane that they're saying that we're going to see isn't going to cause you any rain.
Yeah, we'll probably get it. It'll eventually show up.
Well, you know what? So far, every hurricane that's come our way, knock on wood, everybody else, they'll go, oh, we hope you don't get any bad weather from the hurricane and we'll get 5 minutes of rain. And I keep telling people, you're going to see more of it than we are.
Yeah, that's the last few times that's what we've gotten. It's just rain or it's over almost 100 degrees. And there's no way I'm going to be working on building a garage in 100-degree weather, and it's just not going to happen.
Well, it helps that today's the first day of fall, or is it tomorrow? One of the days.
So it's
first day is today.
I think it's today. Yeah.
You call it fall. We call it autumn.
Yeah, autumn. So it's
autumn.
Or
it's cooling down.
Or second summer.
It's cool. Yeah, because it'll bounce back. Because that was the plan last week, was to get it done, to get it going. And it cranked all the way back up into the 90s. And then I ended up breaking one of my toes. So I says, well, so much for that. And so it's been a couple of weeks now. I think it's good enough where I can put a shoe back on my foot, so maybe I can get something accomplished. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
Scotland
think-
would be great too, just for the history, if nothing else.
Oh, yes.
Paranormal too.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, we're either hitting Ireland or Scotland. I don't know which one they're planning on doing.
I want to do the Spirit and Spirits tour of Scotland and Ireland, hit all the haunted distilleries, because you know those distilleries are old and they've got to be haunted, just like the distillery. All the old distilleries here are haunted.
Yeah, you gotta. That would be awesome. Yeah, well, I would love to be able to go to the UK, but I don't fly, so I got to live vicariously through everybody else's experiences.
Well, we're going on our first cruise, so that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah, I'm not a cruise person either.
I've never.
We don't know.
I grew up on boats in the Chesapeake Bay. I haven't been on a boat since our 25th wedding anniversary. We went on a fast ferry in the Bahamas to a haunted place. There was a haunted house. There was this map of this island that we went to, and it said haunted house. So we had to go.
Nice.
And
nice. Well, no, like you, I grew up on water too. I mean, but it's lakes and rivers. The St. Lawrence and all of the lakes up here in the Adirondacks. But the ocean is a total different breed. And people ask, do you get seasick? I go, well, I don't know.
I don't see how you. Well, I'm taking stuff just in case, but I used to hang out on boats all the time, and I've never had a problem before. But our chemistry changes, and who knows what's going to be different from when I was doing this when I was 15 to what I'm doing now at 29.
I believe you.
You believe me? You believe I'm 29?
I believe you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I used to love roller coasters, but I don't know about now.
Yeah, I was game for that too.
Yeah, I'm
when
not
you get older, your body's just like no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always the first one just to jump right in, get on any old crazy ride, do anything crazy.
Any of them.
The ones that went in circles. You didn't do those.
No, I did do those when I was I did.
And when you get older, your body's like, don't think about it.
I did that one where it goes so fast you stick to the wall.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
they call it Tom's Twister at Six Flags, but they got different names. But yeah, I do that. You couldn't pay me $1 million to do that thing now. There's no way.
But I would pay for it.
We wouldn't even get off. We would just stay on it.
Well, they liked it because girls would wear dresses and the wind would put their dresses
up.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you couldn't move. You couldn't fix nothing.
I couldn't move.
Yep.
And for some reason, that particular ride would go a lot longer. I don't know why.
When that would happen.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I wonder why. It was strange.
I don't know.
But he said Tom's Twister. What would be great is we drove through Hannibal once. Hannibal, Missouri, where the stories of Tom Sawyer and all that occurred. We never got to check out any of that when we were up there. So we've got so many places on the lists of things that I'd love to do, and we just haven't been able to. But
we're not far from a bunch of Civil War sites here.
Oh,
we don't have to go very far.
We even have a couple Revolutionary War sites.
Yeah,
just like you have a whole buttload of those up there.
Yeah,
and I mean, I grew up
because I sent you the pictures, didn't I? I think I did.
Yes.
Yeah. Of the battlefield there in Oriskany.
And we had some in the area where I was growing up, in Patterson and Maryland and Virginia. Went to a bunch of those, and those are amazing as well, especially when you think about the weapons, that they had back then, how long wars lasted, because, you really couldn't get that close to some stuff. You're shooting cannonballs at houses, and
right.
You got a cannonball stuck in the side of a house in Williamsburg that's still there. From the Revolutionary War.
Right.
You look at the stuff, and there's not, when you go to Missouri and Kansas, you don't have areas that are as old as there are on the coast. Of course, here we've got houses from the 1500, prior to the 1500s here.
Right.
And, contrary to popular belief, St. Augustine isn't the oldest city in the United States. Pensacola is by 5 years. So we go down there, and it's just amazing when you look at Christ Church and know that it's made it through all these hurricanes and all these things since 1559.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And it's wood. I mean, it's not brick, it's wood.
Right. It's amazing. Well, like this just blows my mind when you see places that are so old like that and made of wood, and they're still standing today.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, and today with the modern technology and the materials that we have, we can't have a building last more than 100, 200 years.
Right.
If we're lucky.
That's pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I mean, the house, my house here, my house I own right now is over 100 years old, and it's still in pretty damn good shape. And because when we were doing some remodeling, we seen when we ripped up some floorboards, the joists that they use are just like over what they needed to use back in those days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they had, the wood stoves. So I think that's why they used all of that. And it's triple what we would use today.
Yeah.
So, I could have like an elephant in my kitchen and it wouldn't even, be no big deal.
Yep.
Well, I think it was a lot of that was pride and workmanship back then.
Yeah.
And now if you were to tear down the walls in this house, you're going to see a few 2x4s and go, oh, is that it?
They say, yeah.
I mean, if we hadn't watched the other houses in the neighborhood be built, we wouldn't know what's in the walls of our house.
Right.
This house was built before we ever even saw it, So, but
it's built to take a Category 4 hurricane.
But we are also 30 minutes inland.
30 miles
right.
away.
So, what's funny is last week everybody was saying it's the anniversary of Hurricane Ivan. It's been 20 years. It's like, do you guys not know that what you're saying is saying, hey, let's see us get hit again now.
Let's do it again.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
know what they're saying. They say it and then they think about it afterwards. They're like, oh, wait a minute. It didn't sound right.
I mean, here we are. They're talking about this possible hurricane this week coming up, and our daughter's going to be here, but we're not. We're going to see our other daughter, and it just happens to be at the same time. It's going to look like we're saying, "The heck with this crap, we're out of here."
Right.
No, we planned this out.
Sorry, honey, you're on your own.
Yeah. Well, and then my other daughter that lives here, she just told me today, she goes, if anything happens, my family's coming to your house. And I said, well, then I'll make sure the sheets are clean on my bed so that you guys have some place to sleep while we're gone.
Right.
So, I mean, no matter what,
the grandson would destroy our house quicker than a hurricane anyway.
Yeah. We got.
Yeah. They can make a mess.
Nolan is a little destructor. I think he's going to grow up and be a demolition worker. They want him to be a baseball player, but I think if he does that, he's going to miss his calling as a demolition worker.
He's going to be what he wants to be.
And Piper, she's just all excited. She's, if that happens, I get to stay at grandma's house. Yeah, but grandma won't be here.
Yeah. Because I had the same thing with my son. They everyone wanted my son to be a football player because my son's big, and my son's a welder.
Good for him. That is a very good job. There's not enough of those going around.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it makes me worried because he's always telling me how he sets himself on fire, or they just say, "Oh, thanks." I don't want to know. Well, he loves it. He loves it. He's good at it, and to look at him, you think he'd be a truck driver because he's 6 foot. He's over 200 and something pounds. My son is big dude, and but he's a welder.
Well, I'm glad for him because that is something that's going to be needed no matter what.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, he actually thought about becoming an underwater welder,
Ooh.
until he heard about the dangers of it. He's like, nah, maybe I won't do that. So,
Well, he may not be putting himself on fire anymore.
Nah.
no, but then you got to worry about, drowning and all kinds of there's all kinds of other issues.
They do get paid well, but you can't spend
Very
the money
well.
if you're dead.
Yeah, very, very well. And that's what attracted him to it at first.
Yeah.
Until he learned about all the extra schooling and then the diving and all of that you had to learn. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he likes water, but not enough to go through that extensive training. And the money isn't worth it, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that pretty
good
much
for him,
got rid of
though.
that idea. Yeah. So, and it's great because he doesn't work too far from our house. So it's like just around the corner and then back home, and he's good to go. So, all right. Like I said, you say you don't use equipment. So obviously you don't use any of the apps, do you?
That's the one he uses.
EchoBox.
He uses
The
the
EchoBox.
Oh, what was the other one?
Necrophonic.
Necrophonic.
But the only reason
We
that
don't really use that one.
one of the reasons that they use it is because I went into the code and looked at it and saw that it doesn't triangulate, it doesn't use Google, it doesn't use anything.
Yeah, there's no internet.
You have to make sure that you're utilizing
No pre-programmed words.
Right.
I've had it. We've had it speak Spanish, German, Japanese.
None of that's in there at all.
Right.
It's just phonetics.
It actually matched the locations that we were actually at, that it was speaking it.
Yeah. So,
There.
but yeah, that was the big thing for me is what is it doing? Is it utilizing? Because, I mess with some apps.
Right.
So one of the apps that I used, I went and I turned it on and I drove down the highway. Turned it on when I was leaving Sprint, going home. And I started noticing that it was pulling up stories from the newspaper, words from the newspaper that was online. And yeah, Necrophonic is the same way. It does not have any words built into it.
Not used that one that much, but we've been with people who have, and they've gotten some pretty good results.
So, and see, for me, it's huge if, we have it on a tablet, but we don't have service on the tablet. So the only time I can update it is at my house, or through my cell phone, utilizing my data, whatever. But I don't do that. In fact, I got to update that before we go. But
what's that?
The tablet got to update that.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing is you got to turn off all your location.
The EchoBox doesn't GPS you. It's not, no internet.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So when I update
that's why I like it. We've gotten great results.
Yeah. I'm updating it at home. So if it's getting location from my house. It's not getting location from when we go to Ashmore. It's not going to change it because I've already turned all that off. As soon as I update it, I turn off all services and nothing. I turn off the mic because it doesn't need my mic for it to work. I mean, if it's a spirit that's talking to it, it's going to know what the spirit's going to know how to utilize it. So no mic, no internet, no triangulation, no words built into it. I mean, I tore it apart to look at the code.
Well,
it's
like
to me.
That's like I said, when that kid asked, he goes, can it guess my name? And I was like, hell, I don't know. It wasn't the EchoBot. It was whatever was down in there. They knew who he was, and they just said the kid's name, and the kid kind of freaked out a little bit. And now the people said, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "I didn't do anything. I don't know what his name is."
So,
and we got, and that was kind of a game we would play with people coming in there. It was just funny to us, but we just got used to it, guessing people's names. Well, we had a group that came in. There was a college up the street. So these college kids come down. They said, hey, they saw what we were doing. It was guessing their names. And they said, our friend here, he's a foreign exchange student from Africa. And they were laughing. They said, guess his name. I was like, okay, what's his name? Well, EchoBox didn't say anything. They said, oh, probably not going to get it. I was like, well, it's one of those things. has its good days and bad days. And then they ask again, they say, what's our friend's name here? And they say, Uka Baga.
Some African.
I mean, it was, and the kid, his eyes got that big, his mouth opened up. He goes, and they all looked at him and they went, oh my God. I said, what? That thing said it. That kid, he ran out. He said, I'm getting out of here. Because I don't know how you did it. I'm like, me and Carl was helping us that day. We looked at each other and went, damn.
And necrophonic, it does say that it's used for entertainment purposes only. But if you go through all the stuff to get rid of the things that are going to cause it to be, you turn off the location. You turn that off, it's not going to know where in the heck you are. But you have to make sure that you're doing it in a place like I said, I will update everything here and it will all be turned off. And and I'm glad that you are critically thinking there, Julie, because so many people don't think critically. They want to take everything as
it depends on locations, because there's some locations where it doesn't work. I mean, McPike, nothing. Any of the newer stuff, it doesn't work.
Nope.
Right.
Dowsing rods.
Get the dowsing rods out. Get your camera out.
Candles. Well, if you talk and you say something and you ask them, want the candle to move, and it will. But the thing is that right there is also subjective to, breathing. You breathe a little. If everybody's breathing at the same time, the candle's going to go. The flame's going to go everywhere. So,
right.
Yeah, Julie, stay skeptical, because I'm going to tell you, there is a lot of stuff to be skeptical about.
Yeah, we've tried modern equipment, anything there, and it just at McPike, nothing. Mm-hmm. Where everybody goes is down in the basement. That's when because you really can't get in the house.
Can now.
Yeah.
On the first floor now.
A little bit. But that's where the spirits know where we're at. They would come there and visit. Well, we had a session down there and everybody had left, and Sharon says one of her friends had stopped by, and she pulled me and Jerome aside and she said, could you take my two friends down there, between sessions? There's nobody down there. Can you take them down there and just, walk them around the cellar? We said, sure. It was just four of us down in there. We go in there and the one lady says, my daughter or somebody says, if I tap this button, it'll do machine gun mode. And I said, on her phone, I said, well, I don't know. I don't know your phone very well. So she's just hitting this button, just taking pictures. It takes, I don't know, 40 pictures or so when you do that. About an hour later, they got another session going on there. I'm sitting out there and Sharon goes, go over and look at her pictures. She's wanting someone to go look at the pictures that she took when we were down there. I said, okay. So go down there and, it's frame by frame. And she goes, this is weird. Look at this. Well, you can see the doorway. And as it's going around, it shows a chair. It shows a full chair. And then, frame by frame, it goes to the second chair. And on that second chair is a damn cat sitting in the chair with bright green eyes.
Night, Julie.
And it wasn't, it looks kind of fuzzy. No, it was a cat, a black cat. And then, it was obvious as all get out. I'm like, what the hell was that? I said, there wasn't no cat down there. I said, we were the only ones down there. And then it goes past the chair and it shows us the third chair. And then it shows a person's hand, their arm, their shoulder, and it stops. The last picture was about half of a head, but it was a guy wearing a hat. And that's when the frame stopped. And I thought that's the best pictures I've ever seen on any paranormal evidence of any kind, really. It was a cat. Well, we showed Sharon the cat. She goes, oh yeah, that's Shadow. the cat that used to hang around when I bought the house. He's been dead for, I don't know, 12 years or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, Sharon, I said, you sure? She goes, oh yeah, that's Shadow. Yeah, that's him. Looks exactly like bright green eyes. Yeah, that's him. And she goes, how did you get that? Your friends took the pictures.
Yeah, just took pictures.
Goes, oh, I thought he was still hanging out down there. I'm like, okay.
And then Sandy Little Lizard said that the man, she said, that's Henry McKnight.
That's Henry. She goes, oh my gosh. She goes, how did you get that? And I said, she just took a random machine gun mode.
Right.
Well, that was the only thing we got out of all the pictures was that setup.
And Julie, a lot of people have problems with dowsing rods. That's why I hardly use them anymore. I use them more to give an example to people of how to use them correctly,
the thing is,
without making movements and stuff.
You're not, I don't know. A lot of people, I can't really get them to do it. I can't really grab them and do. You'll see my hands moving. I'm not moving. I'm holding. I'm supporting them. Is all I'm doing on the rods. You're just holding them, and they're moving on their own. The way I do it, I can't physically move them because I don't have them in my hands. I'm not gripping them or anything. I'm just supporting them. Yeah. That's it.
One of the big things that they use dowsing rods for is finding electrical lines and, power lines, water lines, all that stuff. And I mean, a bunch of the utility companies, which I work for a type of utility company, and we actually pay people to locate the hard to find stuff. And when they can't find them any other way, they'll go out there and locate them with dowsing rods. So there is some validity to them. Can the spirits use them? It's always been a theory, but I know that it feels weird sometimes to my hands that I'm getting this electrical feeling from my feet to my hands at times. I have tried putting dowsing rods in the ground.
Yeah, nothing.
And nothing. I've put them in bottles or vases and
we've tried different things.
Getting it to work without a body. So is it micro movement? I don't know. But, thank you so much for saying that because, again, critical thinking is something that's lacking in the world today.
Oh, yes. Big time.
And, it's just like pictures now. I can't look at a picture now and go, oh, my goodness, that is it. That is a paranormal picture. Unless I took it now because of AI and because of Photoshop and because of phone apps, these ghost cameras. I mean, somebody shared one the other day and said, look at this. And it's a little girl in the tree by their house. And why is it green? The tree's green, but the ghost is black and white. It's because it's overlaid on there to do that. Right. And it's not a ghost. And so
can't trust pictures.
But again, if it wasn't, and people get irritated as heck when I say stuff like that. Hey, that's from this. But we were talking about apps a little bit ago on here. And one of the apps that is the biggest, fakest app I've ever seen, and it has been used on TV on my ghost story once, and it's called Ghost Radar. And
heard of it? Yeah,
for entertainment only.
It is crap.
Yes, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
And I mean, and some of the people that have used it are big name paranormal people that people pay a lot of money to go to their conferences and stuff. And I was like, and the minute I hear Ghost Radar, I'm not paying attention anymore.
Like Ovilus for me.
Yeah, him is Ovilus. For me, the other thing is for me is the flashlight trick.
Yep.
I will stand by I will tell her once I see the flashlight trick, I'm done watching, going, I don't know why you're showing me this, and I'm walking away. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I thought that when they first came out with it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. But he's an electronics technician. He knows how batteries work with all this stuff. And if you're sitting there and you have to fiddle with it, just getting it just right,
Right.
Yeah, if you really want to do that, get the push button ones on the flashlights. Now, if it's clicking that thing on and off, you got something.
That's how I
We've
look
done
at it
that.
too. Yeah.
We've done it. We got nothing.
I do have a flashlight that Carl gave me. It's
Now, yeah, you have
you
to touch it. It is a sensitive switch, but we haven't gotten anything on that.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything on it either. So it you actually have to touch it along this certain line to get it to come on. And so yeah, the flashlights are just junk.
Yeah.
Good for you. I am proud of you. I have a friend in this world that believes me. But we were in a paranormal conference once, and they asked us the question, what do you hate most in the paranormal? And I said, I don't want to call people out. I said, but I'm going to tell you, I hate the flashlight trick. And I had so many people pissed off at me.
I agree with you because it's BS. That is the bottom line.
What about the word trick?
Yeah.
Might as well have a magician doing it for you.
Exactly. So. Well, see, this would be my next question is, well, how do you feel about the fake paranormal investigators, and how do you think that they're affecting the field itself?
They make us all look bad. They make us all look like charlatans, that we're all doing the same thing. And
you don't even need to do that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, a lot of the places we've been to, you don't have to do that. I mean, it may not be active all the time, but when it is, I mean, you don't have to.
Well,
there's a lot going on.
What happens is there's a lot of people out there that say that they're in the paranormal to help people. So, for an example, last weekend we went to a paranormal conference, and we were not part of the conference. We paid to go, and we met a lot of really great people there. We decided to stay at a hotel. We didn't want to drive all the way home, an Alabama dark night, and the only hotel that was available was the hotel where all the guests were staying from the paranormal conference, which I was fine staying anywhere, but it's the only room I could find was there. So we were meant to be there somehow, some way.
Got the last room.
Yeah. The young lady that checked us in, later on, we come downstairs and she's talking to one of the ladies from the paranormal conference, and they eventually leave. This girl has gone into 3 hours worth of stuff that's been happening to her in her life, and I don't know if you guys know Jeff Leeper. He was there at this conference. And
well, we weren't eavesdropping. We just came in we were going to sit outside by the pool, but all the chairs everything were wet because it rained a little bit.
Yeah.
And we come in, this poor girl's got tears rolling out of her eyes, and she's talking about some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, and we were invited to come over. Damn. So, but we do all this stuff, and she's talking to us, and she's now feeling like I'm her best friend, which I appreciate that very much.
Paranormal channel.
And she was so convincing on what things that had been happening in her life. And I said, what do you believe do you believe that you could have a generational curse? And she started talking about some more things. And I look at him, I go, it's definitely this. And I said, and it sounds like there's some oppression going on.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was able to diagnose, and she goes, well, how can you help me? And I said, I can't help you, but I know somebody who can.
Yeah, we said
and they're here at the hotel.
There's a guy here at this conference, and I think he's staying at this hotel. And I mean, not even 10 minutes later, here comes Jeff and Maria.
So
walking in the door.
I asked Jeff, and I
was like, wow, this is weird.
Because I had told her, I said, Jeff is the only person I think that can help you. And I said, let me get, he's supposed to be staying here. Yeah. And here he comes in the door, and I asked him, I said, Jeff, can you come and listen to this? I said, I know you're tired. They drove down from Baltimore. Okay. So to Ozark, Alabama, which is just north of the Florida state line, not too far. And so they drove all the way down. I knew that they were tired, but him and Maria sat there and listened to her for another hour and decided the next morning that we were going to go over there. Well, she asked me to come and asked him to come. Because we didn't need to be there for any other reason other than she wanted us there. And I told Jeff what my diagnosis was. He agreed. And, we went over there to her house and helped with the problem. Jeff did a blessing and gave them some homework to do. But the funny thing is when we got there, she has a daughter that's 5 years old. The daughter does not talk to people. She's verbal, but she doesn't like strangers. And as soon as I came over and said hi to her, she started talking to me, and her mother's like completely in disbelief about this. Not to mention the guy that we were there to help as well. He was in disbelief because she doesn't hardly talk to him either. So
she lives with him.
Yeah. Within 5 minutes, this kid's in my arms and cuddling and having a great time. So my role at this point, while Maria and Ron and Jeff are listening and doing everything that they can, I've got her 3 kids, and we're bonding. We're I'm keeping them away from something that might be uncomfortable for children to hear.
Right.
And a lot of what we were hearing was, yes, there was oppression going on. There was some voodoo involved. There was all kinds of bad things involved. The family curse related back to multiple types of abuse, that had been happening in their family. And her goal was so her children didn't go through the same kinds of abuse that the rest of the family had gone through. So she had a really good message that she wanted for her kids, but she didn't know how to get there. So, us listening to her got Jeff there to help her and her family become knowledgeable about the things that they needed to do beyond crystals, beyond the stuff that they needed something more spiritual.
Right.
And that is sometimes way more important than, I understand that people really believe that their crystals can do all these things. And I'm not going to, I can't say that I know that they can, or I know that they can't, but I do know that your mind is the strongest thing you can have. And if you've got the right tools, you're going to have the power to deal with an oppressive anything. So I've heard from them this week, and everything's going good. And they are just ecstatic with the way that everything turned out.
It was just meant to be. I mean, she just started that job 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
We went out there.
Great.
And we
just happened to stay there.
And we've already promised her we'll come back up. And I will have to tell you that Ozark, Alabama, there are more left turns than there is in a NASCAR race to get up there. I don't know how we didn't do this.
Right.
Because, the whole time I'm telling them.
Not an easy way to get there.
No, there's no good way. And for those of you in, over in Kansas and Missouri, there's no good way to get to Atchison. There's no good way to get to Ozark, Alabama. And I mean, I tell you, every time I told him left turn, I think he was getting pissed. Where in the hell is this place?
Right. How many left turns are there?
Well, that's kind of like I said on Friday when we went over to the area that we thought we wanted to live. He goes, "Can I take this road to get to the next exit?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Swamps." I said, "We have to go back through all that damn traffic, or, either that or we get a hotel and stay the night."
Right.
So, but it's the same thing. There's all these swamps and stuff in this area where you're making all these turns just to get to, you can see a straight line when you're looking at it, but when you're driving,
that's not how it works. Yeah.
So
I know, because I've been to a few places myself and thinking, my God, where is this? And you just keep going. It's been never ending. Wayne had a question. Is there any paranormal channel that you totally detest in any way?
A channel?
Yeah.
Or a show?
Huff Paranormal.
Thank you. And
I don't even. Yeah. Don't even have to think about that one. The most active place we've been.
Ooh.
It's a toss up between.
Well, we've been Malvern Manor up in Iowa 4 times and got activity every time. Something different. Plus a lot of the same stuff.
And then
Sally House on its good days was really active.
Yeah. And McPike Mansion. We had some personal experiences there that was not related to the house. It was more related to us. One of the things I tell people all the time, if you go to a haunted location, you may not be experiencing the spirits of that location. You may be experiencing the spirits that came with you. So, and yeah, it does. It has a bunch of work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the Fort Blakely.
Yeah.
Again, we went out there.
I told them that we're going to be doing that on October 12th and with the Ghost Hunting Housewives. And I'm excited.
We also found out the most active spot wasn't where we thought it was. We thought it was the battlefield, but it's not. It's where the old town used to be.
Only thing I know is that when we were out there,
check that out.
The most active spot out there was near the water because the mosquitoes were eating me alive. So we got to make sure we bring bug spray.
Bug spray, yeah, because the dinner bell will be ringing.
It's horrible. Of course, like I said, we're in second summer, so they're getting refueled right now.
They're waiting for you. They're definitely waiting for you.
So,
does anybody else have any questions for Denise or Ron? And while we're waiting for some to pop up, do you have? Everybody has their bucket list. Have you gone everywhere on your bucket list, or do you have more you have added?
I have to say, our bucket list changes all the time. Because we'll find one and we'll say, "Hey, we want to go here," and we do it when we can. But again, our bucket list leads us across the pond to England, Ireland, and Scotland. We want to check that out. Our family histories go that direction. So I have some of my family came over as Irish indentured servants. And so I'd like to find out more about that. And I don't think we have any Scots in our families. Ron's got some Swedish in his family.
Gettysburg was ones I always wanted to go to, and we went there. But I want to go back again to Gettysburg. So
yeah, we've got a lot of
haunted location I wouldn't visit. Sally House, no reason.
Yeah.
After the house got cleared, it was boring. Nothing on the Echo Vox. The smells of the house were gone. The bugs were gone. The wasps were gone. Everything was gone. It was weird. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, back to your question about bucket lists. There's one place I want to go that I don't know if I can ever go. And it's the location where my father was murdered. It was my grandfather's house. So I would like to go there and see. We never went back after my dad was murdered. We never went there again. And I don't know if the people who live in the house know what happened, but that is someplace I would like to investigate. I don't think I'd love to investigate, but I'd like to. And the other place I want to go is where my dad is buried, and talk to him now because the last time I went, I went with the kids, and it's not appropriate talk in front of.
We had a couple people we sent out to investigate.
They haven't done it yet.
They haven't done it yet.
Yeah, there's a group out of Lynchburg, Virginia, which is where my dad was born, that are planning on going out to the graveyard. I gave them a name. I did not tell them that it's my father. Did not tell them the history, but I wanted them to go out there and see if they could ask some questions at his grave. And not only his, my grandmother was murdered as well, and she's buried right next to him.
My goodness.
They were murdered by the same person.
Oh.
My grandfather, who's buried in the same graveyard but across the street.
Okay.
So needless to say, there is a lot of things going on there that now I would love to do, but there's no good way to get to Gretna, Virginia, unless you live in Lynchburg.
Right.
So it's not off of any interstate anywhere. It's just, and people may know the town of Gretna from moonshiners. So that's a whole other story, but that's my family history is there. So I'd like to find out more about that.
What investigation changed your view of the paranormal the most?
Well, we got this other. What's your favorite part about an investigation?
Yep.
Dinner at the Mexican restaurant before.
Yeah, actually, our favorite part is the people we're investigating with.
Yeah,
that is our favorite part. That's the funnest thing is, hanging out with people you like to hang out with.
Right.
Those relationships. So far,
we rarely investigate just us two. It's usually with another group or somebody
Which is great.
else.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you get to meet a lot of nice people, a lot of interesting people.
And see how they go about doing an investigation, because we don't have a set way. We just kind of go in and kind of get a feel for it. Sometimes she'll say some things and
right,
kind of steer us in a different direction, and this is how we just kind of go by feel. We wouldn't make a good TV show because most of the stuff most of the stuff
you fly by the seat of your pants is what you do. That's what because there are people that have a structured program that they follow, and then you and I you go in there, you get your feel of the house, and then you just do your thing, and it's not always the same. So it's
each location guides you to what it wants you to know.
Right.
And if I go in there with a plan, every time I've gone in with a plan, it hasn't worked. The only place that we do exactly the same thing in almost every single time was the Villisca Axe Murder House, because I used my little notebook and I wrote down all the questions, and I would rewrite those questions
and ask the same ones
every single time and got the same answer every single time. But that's only because that's what I was trying to find out. Will I get the same answer everywhere?
Yep.
That's the scientific method. You know what, though? The scientific method sometimes is boring. I like it. I know we have to do that, but it gets boring.
Have some fun as well. Because you're sitting there.
We have fun. We joke around. We don't ask that many serious questions.
So
you got to break it up a little bit.
We'll mess around with the spirits.
Friday wants to know, what investigation changed your view of the paranormal the most?
Living in a haunted house. But again, you don't investigate your own home. No. I don't care who you are. You don't investigate where you sleep. And one of the ones that really, I have to say,
Julie will go with us.
I will say the Sally House probably changed my mind on a lot of things. And I'll tell you, it's because it made me take the stories that the people were giving us and tear them apart to find out what parts of the stories were true. Because with every legend, there is some fact. And I used to tell people this all the time. The word "the" was spoken in the house. "The" was said many times, but everything else is subject to, what people think. And so that's what you've got to find is, how do you find the facts? And investigating made me go, I need to find the facts. I need to find the truth. And I mean, honestly, I was obsessed with the Sally House for those whole 7 years that we were doing tours there and everything. I every waking moment was something to do with the Sally House. Didn't matter if I investigated somewhere else. My mind was on the Sally House. And what's really bad is not only was my mind on the Sally House, the Sally House was on me as well. It would follow, spirits from the Sally House would follow us to McPike Mansion. It would follow us to Malvern Manor. It would follow us to our house.
Where's Julie live? We're in Florida. She wants to investigate. Well, there's gonna be a lot of places here.
Oh, and there was one other thing. We started having paranormal meetings down here where the people from the community can come. So we're doing monthly. I call them the Milton.
Julie's in Kansas. Well, that's where we were. Just where we moved from.
Yeah, we moved from Lewisburg, Kansas, to here. So
go to the Garnett House. Can you get in there now? I know he's trying to sell it.
Yeah,
definitely you hit that.
Justin owns it.
Yeah,
just Justin.
And Mac is here up in Atchison. You got to go to that.
Yeah, and let's see, there was another one. Well, I hear the Beatty Mansion's pretty good now that they've got good people in there.
Yeah,
operating it. We never got in there. We never got into the Glore and all that. But we're just having these meetings called the Milton Paranormal Meetup, and we had 8 people show up for the very first one.
Yep.
And I was like, if we get 3 people, I'll be excited.
Right.
When you put your phone number on something and it's a 913 phone number and you're in an 850 area code, people are like, what in the heck? But we are a military town. We have a whole bunch of military people here. So I just made sure I told people, yeah, we moved here, 18 months ago.
But only one person that came had ever even been on an investigation of any kind.
Yeah.
It was in New York is where she came from.
It was an orphanage and it's called an asylum. It starts with H.
It was near, she lived near Buffalo. Well, in Buffalo. But I think it was in that area.
Yeah. She said they called it an asylum, but it was really an orphanage.
She went in there 3 times for what?
Different tours.
Yeah. Paranormal tours.
So,
hi, Claire. How are you?
So, yeah, there's all kinds of things going on in the paranormal world that keeps us busy. So,
there's always a list. So there you go, Julie. If you want to hook up with them, you got to get to Florida.
Well, or send me a message and I'll, I probably know somebody in the area that's looking for somebody to come and investigate. So
Charlie and David.
Well, yeah,
they're all in the area. They're all up.
Yeah, the Kansas crew.
Yeah, David Glidden's not too far from you. He does a lot of things at the Garnet House.
McIntyre a lot.
Yeah, he just did the McIntyre. Let's see. There, like I said, just reach out. I'll tell you who's doing what where and know everybody there.
Right. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Crow is from Florida, but he really doesn't go out and investigate.
Texas. Oh yeah.
Nobody's talked him into it yet. I mean, he's a great debunker, but as far as investigating, Crow hasn't gone out with anybody.
Yeah. We plan on heading to East Texas. We plan on getting to Galveston, Houston area.
Yeah, I want to
go back to Galveston now that we don't have small children. I want to go, they didn't like the walk. They wanted to go to the beach. That was it. Now we're older. We want to go check out all the different things that we couldn't check out before, that with kids you could only drive by and go, that house is, I said, that's haunted. The kids are like, we don't want to go there.
Right, exactly.
So
you're on your own, Mom. We ain't going. That's
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I get that from my husband. I'm not going there.
So
a question is from Wayne. Is there any particular places in England that you would like to investigate?
Wow.
Edinburgh. I'd like to check out Edinburgh.
There's quite a few.
Yeah. And I may not get all the right countries in this, but I know that there's an Edinburgh, Scotland, and there's an Edinburgh in the UK. And I'd like to check out the Hellfire Caves in the 2 different places. I know I'd like to check out Leap Castle, but I believe that's in Ireland.
I know it's hard to keep track
It is.
where all these are.
I'd love to get into one of those really old cemeteries.
Scotland.
Yeah.
in Scotland, Lep Castle. Yep.
Yep. See, like I said, I know the names of
There's
the places
one.
I want to go. I just don't know where they are.
There's one that had a big graveyard is right next to a church, and now that I remember the story, but the church was really haunted. I'm trying to remember where that one was.
Oh, I want to go to France too. I want to check out the catacombs.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Normandy Beach would be.
Oh yeah, Normandy Beach.
That's the only thing in there I'd want.
So yeah, you guys gonna have to make up a list. Wayne says he recommends going to York. Loads of places that are haunted there.
Yeah,
I've heard of that. Like I said, I'd have to start doing my homework on the listing.
Like I said, they're looking into a trip where they went to Ireland, right?
No, they went to Scotland.
Scotland.
That's
right.
They want to Ireland.
They think they're going to do Ireland. Don't know if it's going to be next year or not.
A friend of ours is.
But that's who we would go with.
Rick McCullum.
Because they're gonna they would plan it.
Rick McCullum just did Scotland again, with Scottish Paranormal. Yeah, Scottish Paranormal, and.
But yeah, they pick out the places they want to go.
Yeah, one of the things that he has said that he wants to try to do Ireland. So if he does that, I want to check that out. So
that's amazing.
But you know what? Right now, anything in England would be great if I knew for sure. I'm just not interested in the Black Monk House. I'm not interested in the Ram's Inn. Yeah, the only thing I mean, I'd like to drive by the Ram's Inn and see it because it
looks like
historically speaking, it's neat looking to see. And then after finding out that Yvette Fielding's cousin went there, and
I was gonna say,
Wayne's right.
Yeah, I know.
It's so hard to understand. I love the accent.
I know.
Wayne, have you ever been in Appalachia? Because I have. I can understand those people, so we'll probably be fine.
Oh.
But yeah, Yvette Fielding, her cousin has a story that the ancient Ram Inn is what scared the crap out of him so bad it caused him to have alopecia. So I kind of want to go there to find out how in the hell that could happen.
Scared the hair right off him.
Yep. So now every time I see him, I kind of laugh. But that show makes me go, oh, this crap is so fake.
Yeah, because I remember I used to watch it when it first came out, and you're thinking, oh wow, and then you start thinking, wait a minute here, something doesn't seem right.
What network is that on that you've been watching that on?
Alien Nation.
Alien Nation has it on repeat right now. So
the ones I'm watching, they're not real old.
No, it's not real old. One of them had the Black Monk House on it.
Yeah,
right.
And for some reason, I had to figure out who this guy was, and when I looked it up, it said it was her cousin, and I started laughing about the story, and I was like, I'm going to hell in a handbasket here because.
See, they
pretty
much investigate the exact same way wherever they go. They
go
in and
they follow the script.
Turn all the lights off.
I mean, they're following the script, just like with
their night vision cameras, and
it's all BS.
The table tipping
in the dark.
Oh, it makes me laugh. The table tipping, and you can see somebody's knee move up, and I'm like, Table tipping is one of the most fake things, or them using a glass on a piece of paper as their Ouija board. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. I just kind of laughed at all. Well, even
just the location itself. You think they're filming at nighttime, and they're not, because they have the crew come in, black out all the windows, set it all up like it's darker than dark, and at nighttime it's not. Like I said, I have relatives who are in the paranormal, and they worked with Zach Bagans and all them guys when they first come out.
Yeah.
And he's seen them come in and they're doing all this stuff. And he's like, what the hell are they doing? And that was a big, huge disappointment for them, because here you're thinking that these people are legit, and then Hollywood steps in and screws it all up.
I was on Ghost Adventures back, around this time of the year, back in 2014.
Yep.
And we got to go do the Sally House for them. So if any of you have watched the Sally House Ghost Adventures episode, the first voice you hear is mine. It sounded a little different then. And Ron was in the graveyard when they did a tour. But one of the weird things that happened during that investigation is a toy that we had taken up there to the Sally House and left.
What's the bear?
There was this bear that did all these gyrations, and it was our kids' toy.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, that was the one we just brought up.
It's like, what in the hell's going on? And it had a little zipper in the back for a little kid's purse, kind of thing. And they have it all set up in a circle on the floor. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So they filmed in September. They aired it in January. I noticed that the damn toy was gone. Well, after I saw the episode, it's like they took the toy.
They stole it.
That toy's in there in his
museum.
They took it.
Yeah,
he clipped your toy. Oh,
yep.
Yeah. So
actually, all the rooms in the whole house, the children's room was probably the least active. One of the least.
Well, you had also the other problem where you had high EMF in that room. If you had the kitchen light on downstairs, it caused high EMF in the nursery. So that's going to make you feel weird anyway.
Yeah,
so,
K2 in that house, nah.
Yeah, and the wiring in the house was unshielded because it was an old house.
Right.
And the thing is we would tell people this, but
we found out by accident over the years.
But I will tell you, Zach was
on a concrete wall. If you flip, you'd have nothing. You'd have a K2 or a millimeter and absolutely nothing on a concrete wall, which you shouldn't. You flip on a light switch in the hallway, and it'd peg out.
Yeah, it'd light up like a Christmas tree.
That closet, and it was in the closet. That high EMF, real high.
So if you happen to go to my Facebook page and you see a picture of me and my daughter with Zach Bagans, it was his decision to take those pictures. I didn't care.
No, they were really good. They were good to us.
They were very nice.
Oh yeah, yes, my cousin done. They said they're nice people, but it's not what we think it is.
Yeah.
It was also the first year that they didn't have Nick, and that was the first question I asked. I noticed Nick wasn't around. I said, "Where's Nick at?" And Aaron says, "Oh, he's not with us." I was thinking on this trip or something, and then somebody stepped in and said, "Oh, he's no longer with us," and it kind of gave Aaron a dirty look, like,
"Yeah, poor Aaron. He
yeah.
got the brunt of the crap when we were there. Him and I were laughing, and Zach gave him a dirty look, and he stopped.
Yeah,
and
we're
he ran
cracking
off.
jokes in the graveyard when they were starting.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I tell people all the time. Yes, I know he's a type A personality, and he takes a lot of getting used to, but his name's on it, so he expects the best, and I understand that. But you don't have to be an asshole. And then the other thing is
exactly.
I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3", and he had on 6-inch heels. So he is towering over me by more than a foot.
Right.
Making me feel like I'm this tall.
And that's why he does it.
And he talked down to me and telling me I was oppressed by the Sally House. The thing is that didn't make camera. Okay. So another thing that didn't make camera that was really interesting was everybody was outside. They had the control center set up on the deck out back, but everybody was outside, and all the lights in the house went off and came back on. He's across the street and he sees it, and he asks the camera crew or the crew that's there. It's not just the 4 of them in any sense of the word.
Right.
There was
a whole crew.
Yeah. You had a sound crew and all this other crap that was there because somebody had to wire me up. But there was, like I said, about 40 people. And Ron goes,
all there to wipe Zach's ass.
It was a lot.
Well, he goes, "Do you guys have a camera on the house? Because did you just see that all the lights went on?" And they said no. I was like,
it's like any other time. You don't.
But like I said, we had fun. Glad we got to do it. Would I ever do it again? Yes, but I don't know if I would watch what I say better so that they couldn't edit it to say what they wanted it to say, because that's what they did do.
Yeah.
They changed my words around. And if anybody who watches that and pays attention to how I'm talking, you can see where there's a quick edit.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
well, when you sign that piece of paper, it's their property.
Exactly. Yeah. He did team up with Jody Dean. Oh, that's another hot mess.
Oh, I don't
Jody
know.
wow.
Dean. Yeah, he just needs to
I don't.
get out.
Is that new show or
Well, he's from
supposed to
Hunting the Dead. I've seen a few of them, and I think I can't believe people watch this crap. It's really bad stuff. He thinks he's some big time rapper, and he's just a middle aged or over middle aged white guy who doesn't.
Yeah, what is that on? I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, I think it's horrible. Hunting the Dead is the channel, I believe.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. I
tell you, if you want to watch some really bad programming, then check it out.
Nah, that's fine.
No, we've seen enough. We got
it's
news.
Really bad. Because he used to be teamed up with Omar and a couple other ones, and I'm thinking, when you watch, it's just bad. That's all I have to say. Just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the other ones, they're fake, but they're entertaining. This other guy is just bad.
Just really
not even worth wasting time on. Does anybody else have any more questions? Yeah, Carla, it is. It's bad because him and Omar used to team up together, and they don't team up anymore. So he even got dumped by Omar. So that tells you how bad it is.
Mm.
And but he's got a following, and people will watch and follow anybody, I guess. So maybe there's hope for us, who actually do the job right, get it out there. There's hope for us.
Well, I mean, hell, like I said earlier about who was that? Oh, Huff. If 1 million people will watch Huff or live sci-fi, then we've got hope. People are just don't have nothing else to watch if they're watching the two of those.
Well, yeah, there's when I seen Huff, because I really didn't pay attention to people who do the spirit box stuff, and when I watched a couple of his, I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's just this guy is just full of it, and
yeah,
because I researched it. How does the box work? They're making these boxes. How does this work? What is the science behind it? Or what they presume to be the science behind it, and it's just it's bad, and he's bad.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them. There's another one out there too. I don't know. It's a younger guy. I can't think of his name. I don't know. I've seen a couple of his too, and I think he's Canadian.
I can't do that.
And he's actually showed where, and when he contacted somebody, that they actually kind of possessed him while he was doing the reading or whatever they call it. And I'm thinking, oh Lord.
So he channeled something that.
Yeah, and then he showed pictures of his legs, because you can see it. It's going up my leg, and you can see. I'm thinking, all right, no, I don't believe any of that.
Again, that's the thing. We all need to be critically thinking about everything that we see, because anything can be faked.
What about the guy that got on a TV show on the Travel Channel?
Oh,
that frequented the Sally House a lot, lived in California, but went to the Sally House quite a bit. And we had to clean up after all his fake stuff that he was doing.
Yeah. Clean up the salt and the.
I mean, we didn't watch his stuff, but people would tell us, oh, yeah, we're watching this channel, and he was live last week or whatever. And they had these balloons were floating. It was like, okay, well, that would explain the helium bottle that he left.
Well, they had stuff floating across the room. They couldn't see the balloons, is what it was going on. He had wire hanging down, like clear fishing line.
Yeah, he had stuff.
Right.
And I mean, I found
Fish
all
lines all over. There was salt down the basement.
Wow.
Like, they didn't even need to do that.
Yeah, it was horrible. Every time he came, it was
He
2
faked
hours.
everything and didn't even need to.
2 hours of cleaning before the guests got there, and making sure that I got the trash out of the house so that people didn't think that we were allowing fake stuff to happen while they were there.
I did.
And that was live sci-fi.
I'll give him the link on the with when we were with Rick. That investigation, that one.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
Paranormal Warnings. It's the second one. He's got, I don't know, there's like 4 different
Episodes.
It's the second one. And yeah, you'll hear it. I mean, about 13, 14 minutes in. When it says what it says, I mean, that whole downstairs got so cold, we turned our heads to see if we could see our breath. And it was 70-something degrees down there.
It was Good Friday in 2015 is when it was. And it's called Rick Paranormal Warnings. It's out there on YouTube. And he
got the thing worked up. And then, like I said, you'll hear what it says loud and clear. Was he using? It wasn't Echo Box, is the other one. He was using it. He was going back and forth. Right. But yeah, you'll hear it as plain as day. And then that was crazy. I mean, I thought something really bad was going to happen right after that. I mean, it was.
Well, like you said, they stay a mess.
But it got colder than crap in there. I mean, it was. I mean, like I said, it was about 70 degrees. That even down in the basement. And then when it said what it said, me and another guy were standing on the other side. We both turned our heads and kind of went, to see if we could see our breath. It got that cold.
Yes, I always bring a thermometer with me. So, because I like to catalog when I first start something what the temperature is in each space. And then as we're going along, and then like you said, you got that cold spot. So I want to determine the temperature range from that spot to where, somebody else is standing in the same room. And, and record all of that because.
It was all on video. I mean, she got dizzy.
I got scratched.
Yeah, you got scratched
twice that night.
Yeah. And yeah, it got. I thought something really bad was going to happen that night.
Yeah, I was just walking out the door and got scratched as I was walking out the door, which was really strange. But
yeah, usually before or during.
But yeah, I mean, paranormal investigating is. I realize it's a hobby. I don't want it to be my entire life. I do have a day job. A lot of the people in the paranormal don't have anything else to do, So, if you send me a message, sometimes it takes me a little while to answer because I work 40 to 60 hours a week every week on my real job. And I really wish that I could just spend all my time on the paranormal, but you know what? There's no money in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Provoking is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Never ever
we
provoke.
don't. Yeah, we didn't do that. But like I said, yeah, Rick got a little worked up. His question, if you watch, you'll hear the question. He was not, they weren't treating him very well. The spirits in the house. So he was getting a little pissed off, and
okay,
it really ramped up until it said what it said. I'm not going to say it because you'll hear it. It's clear as day, and it got kind of quiet just before it said it too.
So yeah, like the room is like still, and that's what you're going to notice that still change, and then that's something's gonna
yeah. When it said what it said, it was like, ah, crap. What did we do?
We
'Cause
wouldn't.
I was over in the corner. I was a long ways from the steps.
We wouldn't have had a lot of Windex to clean up that
Mm.
fan
No.
when the stuff hit it.
Yeah, nice. Oh my goodness. Okay,
But yeah,
everybody.
provoke.
Yeah, I don't do that either. You got to remember, you're still talking to
Yeah.
whoever is in the place. It's still it used to be a living, being. And so you're still going to treat it with respect, no matter what. No matter
Actually,
where
I
you are.
probably wouldn't in a prison. If it was somebody who was disrespectful to other people, I'm not going to be respectful. I'm going to treat them like they treated everybody else. But that's a prison. In a residential or someplace where they need understanding and all that, I'm going to give it to them.
Right.
But if I think that it's going to get me more information to provoke in a prison, that's a whole different thing, because you're in
different
an
ball
environment
game.
where you have to hold your own. You have to prove that you're not a sissy, that you're not yellow.
Right.
And I'm not. Right now I'm bright red, but it's just the way that it's going to be,
Right.
But I still don't think that provoking is the best way. But if I'm not getting any answers in a prison or something like that, then it's a whole different ball game. So, but on a normal day-to-day basis, the only person I'm probably provoking, and probably not intentionally, is him.
And remember, you got to bring him home. So, I mean,
Right.
Well, no, he has to bring me home. He does all the
okay.
driving.
He does all the driving.
I can drive. It's not that
So,
I can't drive.
Yeah, we
because I
had-
can, but we only have one car, so I let him drive.
You don't want to piss off the chauffeur.
No, you want to. Well, I mean, I guess McPike. We're there. We were there so much that the spirits. They know who we are, so they know what our intent is. We don't treat them with disrespect or anything. So I think we get treated pretty good there. The Sally house. Now the spirits there, I don't think they liked her much because she could see them.
Some of them didn't like it, but the ones that did came to our
I
house all
got
the
along
time.
fine. I mean, I never had anything bad happen or nothing.
Right.
I got to see and experience a lot of different things, but we had one time Angie had come up,
She
or
was our boss.
maybe another. Anyway, the chamber said you guys are going to be there till 5 is normal, but there's going to be a camera crew or a news station from St. Joe's going to come in. It's getting close to Halloween. They want to do a Halloween story, so they're coming over here. Would you mind talking to them? We're like, yeah, we'll talk to them. So it was about 5 o'clock, getting toward 5 o'clock, and we said, well, we need start getting everybody out. And they showed up. And they said, where do you want to start? And Denise was talking to them. She said, yeah, we'll start up in the children's room. Well, the only 2 people left in the house was this couple, and we're in the room across from them. And I was talking to them. I'm kind of trying to be nice to kind of like,
Lead them out the door.
we kind of need to get going here, but I didn't want to sound too pushy, but I did say, yeah, you're the last 2 left in the house. And anyway, they were over in the room getting all set up, and the camera guy's setting up. And I'm telling them a story that happened in the room that we're standing in, and they're listening, and all of a sudden the light comes on, and I saw it. I could see it out of my side vision, right off to my side. I thought, well, that was weird. I didn't say anything. I just kept telling the story, and then after I got done with the story, the couple goes, you did notice that light came on, right? And I said, yeah, I actually did. They said, well, what was that from? I said, well, I don't know. Maybe the spirit didn't like the story I was telling, or, what actually happened here, or it didn't like it. And they go, really? And, they were skeptics in that. Anyway, the camera guy, he's in the other room setting up. He can hear us. I mean, it's not that far away.
Yeah, we're not
and
recording.
They're checking her mic and all this and all that. And the camera guy's like setting up, and I can see him looking over there. And the guy goes, so would you say the spirits in this house like you? And I said, yeah, I actually think they do. I said, I seem to get along with them and they don't bother me. And I said, in fact, we'll see how much they like me. And I was completely messing around with them when I did this. I was like, you kind of need to leave people, but yeah, I don't really, I wasn't going to be playing around much. Anyway, I said, all right, spirits in the house, turn that light out. That light went off. I went, huh. Well, I acted like I wasn't too surprised. And the people go, wow, that's pretty cool. And they're kind of laughing. They said, how did you do that? And I said, I'm standing in the middle of the room. I'm nowhere near a light switch or anything. I said, I don't have anything in my hands. They said, oh, that's pretty cool. Well, could you do it again? I said, I don't know. We'll try it. And I said, well, spirits in this house, turn that light back on. I mean, as soon as I said on, it popped back on. And I'm like, damn. Well, this camera guy, he's looking, he's over there watching. He's like, wow, how did he do that? I did it 3 or 4 more times off and on. It was nailing it every time.
Our daughter got a video.
Yeah. And these people were like, they're laughing. They think it's funny. They realize I'm actually asking, the spirits to turn the light on and off, and it's going on and off. And I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty impressive. Well, the camera guy, he's looking over there and they go, so actually, how are you doing this? I said, I'm not. That camera guy, like, yeah, when he realized that actually was happening, he started shaking.
Yeah.
He's like, you could tell he had that look like, I want to get the hell out of here.
Right.
He did. He was scared.
Once the police crew was in the house.
Yeah, he got visibly shaken.
I locked the front door and the back door to keep people from coming in.
Yeah.
And so Ron was, ushering these people out. So the only people in the house that day were me, Ron, and our daughter.
Hi, Anita.
But I tried to do that again other times. It wouldn't do it. It was just that time. That's the only time it would do it. And it was answering every time I asked it to do it. It did it 7 or 8 times at least.
And this was just before.
It was just random. It wasn't, every minute or so I asked.
Yeah.
This
was just before the Ghost Adventures had come.
Yeah.
And I told the chamber, I said, you guys, before they come, you need to make sure that you have an electrical person come out and check this out, because this is not normal. And they had somebody come out and validated that there was nothing wrong. So, but of course we never saw it again after that day.
Yeah, it was just one of those times that it was just answering, doing what I asked it to do.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you always tell everybody, paranormal doesn't happen when you snap your fingers.
No.
If it happens when you're there, you're lucky. Otherwise, it's a hit or miss. It just doesn't happen when you want it to. And that's the boring part. That's what people don't get.
It's
so
fishing.
When you see all those people on all these other channels and these TV shows and everything happens all the time, it's not the truth, because you go years to the same place and get nothing.
Oh yeah. There's actually, I think you recall this when we visited on the show, we were talking about spirit, how long a spirit's lifespan is, or dead span, I guess. How long are we going to witness them? And then there's some of these places. Somebody said that they had been investigating this one location for 20 years, and
it was in the UK.
Yeah, recently they haven't been hearing from those spirits anymore. Like, there is an expiration date. Maybe that they do cross over after some period of time. Maybe it is like a purgatory.
Yeah, I think they were 1850s or something. The ones they were talking to, that's when they passed away, and they said in the last
20 years.
Yeah, they're not getting them no more.
So in the last 3 or so, they said they haven't received anything from these same spirits that they used to get all the time.
Yeah, I've asked that question to a few people as well. And some people think it's just because they come and go as they wish. So maybe they were here for that certain amount of time, and then now they're off doing something else, and maybe they'll be back. And because it's pretty much free will. I mean, you're going to do what you want to do.
At least you hope so. You hope it's free
so.
will. That's the thing. What
kind of sounds like you talk.
All the things we don't know.
The near-death experience. A lot of those videos, and according to what a lot of them say, it is kind of your free will.
Yeah. Then of course it leads up to the one question I want to ask is, what do you believe, or what are your beliefs is what happens to us after we pass on?
Don't know. We'll come haunt you and let you know.
All right.
Go to heaven, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we go.
You join whatever's living in my attic. So I just.
Well, the thing is where am I? I mean, I don't know. And does it have to do with?
No, I believe. I know.
Does it matter if you've been saved, if you're religious, if you're not? There's so many questions that I have because I've never been baptized. I believe in God. I have a lot of family members, like I said before, that are Southern Baptist ministers. So I'm going to hell in a handbasket. We know that. But am I really going to hell? I don't know. And I think if I spend my life worrying about where I'm going to go when I die, then I'm not going to live my life. So my brain tells me when I die, it's going to be, I'm going to go someplace good. The next question is there truly reincarnation? Have I had other lives?
Yeah, that's what a lot of them said.
I don't know.
They said they even were showed their previous lives, which I thought was pretty interesting.
So on Tuesday, the guest that we have, his name is John J. Davis. This will be at 5 p.m. Central. He is a near-death experiencer. And he was very believable,
detailed
in the interview.
One of the very few that can remember the details.
Right. And he reminds me of talking to Travis Walton about his experience being abducted.
Talk to him too.
It reminds me of the same thing. It's the
story doesn't change. It's just as a matter of fact. I mean,
so I think he's going to be interesting, and that's going to be on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, where Ron and I are co-hosts with Carl Albertson on the Bill of Rights Network. So I'm interested to find out what he has to say. I know that near-death experiences aren't necessarily paranormal, but they are supernatural. So he might be able to enlighten us a little bit more on what happens when we die. He was dead for 7 minutes.
Right.
A friend of ours, Mark Fultz, here in Milton,
he died twice.
He used to live in Chattanooga, and he was murdered in Chattanooga and was dead for a little while. I don't remember how many minutes or so he said.
It's quite a few.
But he's back. But yeah, somebody beat the living daylights out of him, left him for dead.
3 guys.
My goodness.
And they didn't get any jail time, so he is a little bit irritated about all that. But so technically he was murdered and came back, and he was told that because
17 minutes, he said.
He had something he had to do. He said he was told that he had something he had to do. He wasn't done. So it will be interesting to check this out, to find out more about near-death experiences. And I really want to know more.
Yeah, Julie said she.
Wow. I'm sorry. And I'm glad you're back.
Yes, obviously.
It's Julie on your show
with us. It wasn't her time, but it's that's
no.
Actually, yes, I'd love to hear more stories about that because it is interesting.
You can't. I mean, they said, previous lives. There's a lot of people out there supposedly they can tell you your previous life. The only thing about that, they can't. You can't prove that if they're right, and you can't prove if they're wrong either. I mean, how would you do that?
Right. Well, there's no
So
way.
that, I mean, they could pretty much make up anything. The only thing I know is, you know, based on some of the people, they said that they were showed, you know, like a video of their life, you know, from when they were a baby on all the way up to when they died. They were also showed, they said, and some of them, they were showed their previous lives, you know, of things that, like a video too of what they did. And they said they didn't even, it really wasn't even anything to do with, you know, the life that they had.
The one that they're living now.
Yeah, it was something almost completely different. It's like you were learning different things in each lifetime. But like I told Denise, I've told her 100 times, I said, there's things that I know for a fact. I know as a matter of fact, I don't even know how I know them. I just know it. But it was things I've never studied before or anything. It's just stuff I know.
Right.
I can't explain it. I don't, you know, there's things I've never even dealt with. But if you ask me about it, I know as a matter of fact. It's hard to explain because you know.
Right. Well, yeah.
Somebody will bring up a subject and it's something that I've never really studied, but I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, how the hell did I know this?
So it'll be interesting. And they say that a lot of people that you look like somebody that was in your, that you look like somebody in your past life because their DNA is in your DNA. And
yeah.
So it's quite possible that your DNA is in that what's in there is somebody in your family line somewhere.
Right.
All of this is attached. It's going to be interesting to hear, at least what
Definitely.
he has to say. So make sure you check that out on Tuesday, and then on tomorrow night at 7 on the Paranormal Pride, I have Joe De Hoyos, and for the life of me, I can't remember his claim to fame, but I'll get it out of him tomorrow night at 7.
I do remember that name.
Yeah. He's probably making the rounds right now on shows. So I don't know, but I know I have him on tomorrow night.
So you guys have got to check it all out. Their link is in the description. You know, you guys just go check out their page, check out their programming. It's very interesting. I've learned a lot watching a lot of the programs and things that you might not think about, or, you know, it's just, or maybe we forgot about you guys' life. We should say, oh, for a minute, I thought she was going to say
Jody Dean. Yeah.
No, Joe De Hoyos.
There
Dehoyos.
Yeah, it's scary.
We're not gonna, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. But everybody go check out their channels, subscribe if you're not. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to here, please. It's free and it helps us out a great deal. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank you guys as well for being with us. I really enjoyed it. And anytime you want to come back, you are more than welcome. And until then, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming and thank you for joining us on the Raw Side. You guys all have a great night.
Good night.